Let's just get some more now. We're joined by Chris Weston from IG Markets in Melbourne. And Chris, obviously Wesfarmers is one that the market will be watching at the open there. I know that the numbers are only just out, but obviously there's a focus, especially in light of what we saw with the inflation data yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had an in-depth look, obviously. I mean, I've just been waiting to go on air, but the numbers that I've just heard you reading out seem, as you mentioned, just smack bang in line with the expectations. So, yeah, Woolworths came out of a good number the other day, and we saw the stock doing pretty well. And in fact, the stock's now up 12% for the year. Wesfarmers themselves up about 8-9% for the year. So just having a mild lag in terms of that effect. But the full year numbers for 33.7, I think you mentioned there. We're smack bang exactly to the cent of what Goldman Sachs were looking as well, and the fourth quarter numbers were at 4.6%. But I think everyone focuses on the pace of growth at Coles. 4.6 is again, it's growing against the PCP, which is great, but the pace of growth on each quarter is certainly coming off. I think if you look in the first quarter, we're growing at 8%. It got down to 6.7, 4.8, and now obviously 4.6. So that pace of growth is certainly pulling back a little bit. I don't think that's going to surprise anyone too much, given the price wars we're seeing at the moment, and obviously that feeding into the deflationary environment. But yeah, I think the Kmart's come out with a number which seems to be slightly better than expected there. But I'll probably have to see the commentary from the CEO and see what they're seeing in terms of price momentum and those kind of bits and pieces. But everything at Coles in terms of food and liquor numbers, the total sales for the quarter and total sales for the full year seem to be in line with what I'm seeing at the moment. So I don't think in terms of the absolute numbers, not mentioning the statement, in terms of the absolute numbers, it looks like this has met the market's demands here.
Yeah, I really appreciate you giving us instant analysis when you haven't even had the chance to look at that statement, Chris. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, and obviously Wesfarmers, they're talking about that price deflation that it's seen throughout FY12. Just turning back to the leads as well that we've also got from offshore, and interesting to hear the NAB's Rob Henderson there saying that this interview given by the ECB official talking about the fact that he sees the merit in giving the ESM a banking licence. The Rob was saying that, look, this is a really positive sign, that the fact that they're even considering this.
It is, generally. I mean, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, though. I mean, these are personal comments. This is not a view of the ECB in itself. And remember, if you think back to Draghi's comments back in December, he said, let's respect the treaty, let's respect the spirit of the treaty. So he isn't fully on board with this whole idea, but there's two things right now which the market wants to see, which could potentially solve this, at least the symptoms of these high yields that we're seeing in Spanish markets and Italian bond prices at the moment. And one of them is actually change the mandate of the ECB so they actually can come out and buy bonds in the secondary market. There's been talk about that in the FT. There's certain economists and certain officials who are looking to potentially change the ECB mandate, or at least they're urging for that mandate to be changed. The other one is actually giving the ESM a banking licence so that they could tap the ECB funds themselves and then come out and buy bonds back in the secondary market. Either of these two things would be very, very positive indeed, as Rod correctly mentioned there. But I think, yeah, look, I think Mr. Nowotny is very, very important to these markets. Now, what the central bankers around the world do, generally when you have a huge policy change like this, is they'll just float an idea, see what the market's idea is, and just generally warm the market up, rather than come out and say overnight, look, we're going to give the banking licence to the markets. That would just be too much of a shock for markets. It'd be a positive shock, but I think it'd be too much. But I think they're just going to warmly, gradually get this into the market. So Mr. Watney is seen as a bit of a visionary within the ECB. Remember, if you think back, he was one of the first people to really call the idea of floating zero rates, deposit rates. Then we obviously saw that in July, rates being cut. People moved their money away from the ECB, and then they put their money into short-term bonds, hence why we've got negative yields in at least 6 Western economies now. So I think his comments are very, very important. Let's not remember that we've also got Mr. Draghi. Whilst he's against it, or his previous conversations were against it, you've also seen Mr. Draghi, Mr. Kaur and ECB member Mr. Knott all, really coming out in the last couple of months and saying, yeah, let's take away all these old taboos about the ECB. So it does seem that we're seeing this general warming to this whole idea about potential big changes to the ECB's mandate. So granting a licence to the ECB to the ESM longer term would be a big positive, and it would certainly bring down yields. If you're a short seller of bonds, you'd be very, very scared right now. You'd be looking to close out those positions, and hence why we saw 2-year bonds trade from 7.14 at the highs right down. I think they closed 79 basis points off the highs as people sort of closed out those positions. The other thing that I took away from last night, Bridie, is that there seems to be this growing consensus or growing feeling that the European Commission could take part, have a bigger part to play in any kind of potential third or second debt restructure that we're going to see from Greece. Remember, we had the 75% write-off to net present value, which was only really the private sector. They're talking about official involvement by some of the other creditors as well, perhaps the ECB and some of the other members as well, which would then alleviate the term of a Greek exit anytime soon, which Citigroup came out with a note last night saying they see a 90% probability of a Greek exit over the next 18 months or so. So, you know, more official involvement in a potential debt restructure would be very positive for Greece longer term, and obviously positive for the euro as well.
So, given all of this, what's your opening call for the ASX?
Yeah, well, we've got a slightly positive market today. I mean, you know, I think we've got the market opening about 10 points higher today. You know, we talked about Wesfarmers. I think that stock, I mean, it's going to be hard to see how that stock will trade, given, you know, the leads are pretty flat, and I didn't see anything from those numbers which necessarily said we're going to get huge outperformance. I think Newcrest is going to be a really interesting stock today because we've had a much higher gold price. The gold price is $20 higher from where we closed yesterday. That should feed into that. And the ADRs were already up 2.5% anyway for Newcrest, and we saw good buying coming into the close yesterday on the back of that number. But yeah, this is a turnaround story. Third quarter obviously very, very weak. We had production issues or operation issues at Cadia and Lihir as well, and we had weather-related issues at a number of their different plants as well. The fourth quarter numbers should be a little bit better. We're looking for about 10% on the copper numbers there, on the gold numbers there. So around 585 seems to be the consensus in terms of what they're looking for, 585,000 tonnes. So I think, or ounces, should I say. So that's going to be looked at very, very closely today. So yeah, hopefully see some money flowing there. BHP's ADR is matching down about 15 cents at the moment. So that's backed as a bit of a headwind today. But all in all, it's a pretty flat open. It'd be interesting to see how the banks trade today, given that the financials were pretty strong in the US. We've kind of disincentivated that lead a little bit with the US banks. But yeah, I think gold stocks do nicely today. Let's have a look at the miners today, because that's going to be probably the place where we'll hopefully see some flows as well.
Great to get all of those views from you, Chris. Thank you so much for that. We'll chat to you a bit later.
Cheers, Bridie.
Chris Weston there from IG Markets. Plenty more on all of the news breaking. Of course, we've got Wesfarmers out with sales numbers. Caltex too, announcing the results of its review into its refining operations. Kurnell to be closed in the second half of 2014 with a loss of around 430 positions, I believe. We'll bring you some more details on all of this, and also